And welcome back to the One Up XP show. Yesterday, well, actually Friday, this past Friday, was Earth Day. And we need to think consciously about things around our planet. It's not as big as some may think, hence the term, it's a small world, just because it seems like everything's connected, right? Well, here in the One Up XP show and in the gaming world and the technology world, e-waste is a huge concern. We are ending up with a lot of electronics, whether it's cell phones, whether it's microwaves, whether it's TVs, computers, whatever it is. If it has a cord or a rechargeable battery, that electronic is ending more and more and more in landfills and in the ground, and it's creating a big problem. So I sat down with Kelvin Shaw of eRecycle in Traverse City, and we talked about this problem and also solutions to the problem and what you can do to combat e-waste. Here's the interview. And welcome, everybody. We are here talking about e-waste on Earth Day. Of course, it's a big concern with us as we travel into the future, and everybody has cell phones, or you have other things such as I have a whole bin of electronics over there, and I have brought in Kelvin Shaw from eRecycle in Traverse City. Kelvin, thank you for joining me today to talk about e-waste.
Thank you, Michael, for having me. Basically, I think we need to define what e-waste really is.
What is it?
It's anything with a cord or a battery, especially a rechargeable battery. So when you look at around your home, your appliances, your electric stove, your microwave, your TVs, your refrigerators, washer dryers, those all considered e-waste, as well as all the technology like computers, laptops, cell phones, and so on and so forth. So when we look at all of those things and we look at that definition, worldwide, there's about 54 million tons a year that is e-waste is generated. And you look at that, 54 million tons is 108 billion pounds. It is a huge problem worldwide. It actually increases at about 5% a year.
Wow.
So you really look at how much that increase worldwide is, it's 5% more each year that's going into, that's being generated. It's really less than 20% worldwide that's actually recycled. It is actually the fastest growing waste stream in our landfills.
Computer parts being such a huge concern during the pandemic, CPUs, GPUs, all of that dye and everything that goes into those parts are just as hazardous as any household electronic when they go into the ground.
Absolutely, and e-waste typically can contain things like lead or mercury.
Right.
And even though e-waste only accounts for 2% of the trash in our landfills, it actually accounts for about 70% of the toxic waste and the heavy metals that are in our landfills. And if we drill down, not from a worldwide perspective, but to a U.S. perspective, the United States generates about 13 million tons of e-waste every year as well. Now, if we drill down even further and we say Grand Traverse County, which is approximately 100 people, or 100,000 people, multiply the number of people by 80, only Grand Traverse County, that's 8 million pounds of e-waste that just the people in Grand Traverse County are generating every year.
We live in the Great Lakes State. Obviously, water is our big thing. But what are the big concerns with these items going to landfills or just out in your backyard? What does that do to Northern Michigan?
Well, as I mentioned, the e-waste typically has or could have toxic materials, lead, mercury, and other things like that, which if thrown in a landfill and not properly recycled, will have a tendency to leach those chemicals over a period of time. Right. So, but when we look at the value of recycling, give you an example. If we were to recycle 1 million laptops,
right,
basically that's equivalent to the amount of electricity used to power 3,500 homes in the U.S. for a year.
But let's dive into eRecycle in Traverse City as well as other places around Northern Michigan, because there are options to get rid of your electronic devices. So how do we go about doing this, and how does it work?
Sure. Typically, if you're a residential, what I would suggest to do in Traverse City is go to Bay Area Recycling for Charities. Mm-hmm. They're on US 31 South down by the Pittsburghers ball field.
Oh, nice. Okay.
And they have a drop-off facility. Michael, the people got to understand that in some cases it costs money to properly recycle these things. Not necessarily free. And some people get upset because it's like, hey, we don't think we should have to pay to recycle. But the problem is, in many of these cases, in order to properly handle those electronics with the toxic material and so on, they have to be shipped down to another state, and where they have the facilities that they can properly recycle those things. So if it costs you $20 or $50 or whatever to properly recycle some electronics, is that really that much money? And I think the answer is really no when you look at the benefits of doing that. And then there's usually every county or township, in the case of Grand Traverse County, On September 18th of this year, there is the Cleanup and Green Up event. There you can recycle not only electronics and appliances, but mattresses, tires, and so on and so forth. Townships typically throughout Benzie County, Antrim County, Leelanau County will have 2 or 3 or 4 hazardous waste and electronics recycling events throughout the year. So just go on your township website and check to see which ones might have some events. I know Antrim County has about 3. I think Benzie County has 2 or 3. Leelanau County has 2 or 3 as well.
Kelvin Shaw with the e-recycle in Traverse City. If you need to get a hold of him, all the information will be available on our 910 News webpage, where we have everything Earth Day related as well as recycling. Calvin, thank you for joining me.
Hey, Michael, thanks for the time, sir. Have a good day.
You too.